Never think of the complications, right? You're asking me, I just got pregnant, and what could be the complications in my pregnancy? Why? You do not have to start your pregnancy on a negative note that I will get some pregnancy complications. However, because you have asked me this question, today I will answer exactly this to you about complications of pregnancy in different trimesters. However, I want you to know and remember that pregnancy is not a disease and you are not a patient. So do not focus on pregnancy as if it's an illness or disease. It is a physiological state of your being where a baby inside you is growing and the right time it will come out. As simple as that. So do not think pregnancy as a disease. However, because of the circumstances, your mental, emotional conditions, the stress of life, the type of food that you eat, there can be certain medical conditions, medical challenges of pregnancy. Also depending upon the predisposition of diseases that you may be having. So let me start with the first trimester. In the first trimester, the most frequently met complication as a doctor for me is miscarriages, bleeding issues. A patient comes typically 7 weeks, 8 weeks pregnant with spotting, bleeding. We take her for an ultrasound. Sometimes the heartbeat is there, sometimes it is not. Accordingly, we give and propose the treatment. Okay, so miscarriages, bleeding issues, spotting issues, first trimester, and second is hyperemesis gravidarum, which is excessive vomiting. Sometimes patients come with excessive vomiting. It is so much that they are dehydrated, and even if they drink water, they puke back. So they have to put on drips, and it takes about 2 to 3 days for it to settle. And but do refer to the video on miscarriages and also on vomitings. Why vomitings happen? What is the subconscious mind, deeper aspects of a vomiting? You must refer to that. So this is so much about the first trimester, first 3 months. Second trimester typically is the comparatively an easy phase of pregnancy, where your movements are not restricted, where your tummy, your belly is not so full blown that physically it is hampering your activities. You're pretty much at ease. Your baby is developing nicely. The most frequently met complication of second trimester is again a bleeding issue. Sometimes patients come with bleeding or spotting. Why? Because the placenta is low lying or it gets implanted at the mouth of the uterus. So because it's a low-lying placenta or a previa, the bleeding can happen. This is one thing. Secondly, if you have a predisposition or a history or family history of diabetes or hypertension, then this is the time when your BP can go high. It is called gestational hypertension, or your sugar levels can remain perpetually high, and this is called gestational diabetes. Then they take you for different tests to check it. So you have to look out for these particular things. However, second trimester more or less is nice. It's easy and comfortable. I mean, these are the most common ones, and of course, on a level 2 scan, when you are 20 weeks pregnant, when we do a scan, if there is some congenital anomaly found, then you really have to think what you want to do with that. Okay, so this could be one another aspect. So the most frequent complications for the third trimester, something like IUGR, intrauterine growth retardation, when the nutrition from the mother is not adequately passed on to the child. Mother could be this much, like she could be really a heavyweight and the baby is tiny. Baby's weight is not growing. It is called IUGR, when rather than growing, the baby is losing its weight inside the uterus. It is called IUGR. Okay, intrauterine growth retardation. This is generally associated with reduction in the amount of LICA, which is called oligohydroamnios. Means when the LICA surrounding the child, the amniotic fluid, is reducing in amount. Okay, this could be the second thing. Generally, the predisposing factor again is infections, maternal infections. It could be a UTI, it could be any other blood infection, it could be malnutrition of the mother, it could be anemia, or it could be placental insufficiency, when through placenta adequate amount of nutrition is not going to the child. It could be calcification of placenta, premature calcification of placenta. This could also be there, and of course there are other reasons also, medical reasons, but this is the general thing that you can understand. Hypertension, gestational hypertension and diabetes. It can flare up during this time. Of course, if it's a placenta previa, then some more bleeding can happen. This is the pregnancy related complication. What else can happen? It's not a complication but a physical change, because your belly is full bloom now, so your diaphragm is also pushed up, your lungs are pushed up, you can feel breathless. There could be insufficiency of air, not able to breathe. Okay, you eat this much and your tummy is filled, your pura ghar is after you, have more food, eat more, but because your belly is pushing your stomach upwards, there is as much that you can hold inside the stomach. So your appetite, though you want to eat, but you can't eat in larger quantities. This is one thing more. Third thing, because you are not able to clean your genitalia so well, there is also a risk of developing a UTI, or if the women are not drinking enough water, then again a UTI can happen. What is UTI? Urinary tract infection, where you can have a burning in urination. There could be increased frequency of urination. There could be nocturia. What is nocturia? When you get up to pee at night. Once or twice is still okay. But when women get up, a pregnant third trimester mother gets up for more than 3 times or more than 3 times to pee at night, this is nocturia. This also can be significant for a UTI. Okay, and of course, preterm labor. Preterm labor. What is preterm labor? That your baby is yet not 36, 37 weeks. It's just 34, 35 weeks or 32, 33 weeks, and you start having cramps in the lower abdomen. You go and you see that the uterus, the cervix is getting dilated, dilation is happening. So this is called preterm labor. This of course has to be stopped, because you do not want a premature baby. So to avoid any preterm labor, you should avoid UTI and infections. And what do you do to avoid infections? Keep your immunity high, take a lot of vitamin C. And how do you avoid UTI? By drinking plenty of water. Take at least 3 liters of water and other fluids, so that your kidneys, your excretory system is nicely flushed and your urine is not smelly. Then the UTI will not happen, and UTI is the basic precursor of a preterm labor. If the UTI is not there, the chances of preterm labor is also less. Of course, there are other reasons also, but I'm talking the most common ones. Okay, one thing very important that you as a mommy in third trimester need to keep a watch on is the fetal movements. If your baby is moving up to 10 to 12 times in 12 hours, it's okay. But if your baby has not moved for more than 5 times, just 3 to 4 times, then you must go to the doctor, hospital, and get the heartbeat checked or an NST done, whatever your doctor is suggesting. Why? Because it could be a sign of fetal distress. Sometimes your baby is distressed. How do you know that your baby is not distressed? If the movements are adequate. So what are adequate movements? 10 to 12 times in 12 hours. 8 to 10 to 12 times in 12 hours is a good movement count. Sometimes excessive movements are also an indication of fetal distress. Child moving more than 20 times, 25 times, excessively baby is moving. Again, you have to go and get it checked. So extreme, excess and very low, both are disturbing. Normal is 8 to 10 in 12 hours, 12 times, 12 hours is good. And you have to keep account of this as well. So these are the complications, but don't think they're going to happen to you. You are a healthy mommy, right? This will not happen to you. Also, more than these complications, know how to connect with your child while your baby is inside your womb, both mentally, emotionally, and subconsciously. And be a pro mom and a pro dad at imprinting the subconscious mind belief system, subconscious mind patterns and perceptions of your child. And how do you know that? Well, there's a 2-day workshop which is there. You'll find the link for the 2-day workshop on subconscious mind imprints of your baby. This workshop is for 2 days. It's currently running. You can just click on the link and enter the workshop. Watch it now. And the second one is you can read the book, Awakening in Womb, Science of Imprinting the Subconscious of Your Unborn Child. The link is there. And if there's anything, there's a WhatsApp number, just a message away, or you can ask your questions in the comment section below. I'll be very happy to answer them all. So that's it. I'll see you soon. Bye.